Hello and welcome to Law Kanya. Today I will be discussing the case of D.K. Basu versus State of West Bengal. This is a very important Supreme Court judgment that must be known by each and every individual of this country. So the facts being of the case are such that D.K. Basu, the petitioner in this case, he was the executive chairman of Legal Aid Services in West Bengal, that is a non-political organization. So he addressed in a letter to the Supreme Court that certain news was published in the newspaper Telegraph about deaths in police custody and torture in the custody. He also requested that his letter should be treated as writ petition by the court. Now, the importance of this issue was seen by the Supreme Court and thus it was treated as a writ. Also, while this matter was in continuance, one Mr. Ashok Kumar Johari addressed to the letter by Chief Justice of Supreme Court calling his attention to the death of one Mahesh Bihari from Aligarh in police custody. Now, the same letter was also treated as the request for writing and was included along with D.K. Basu's request. Supreme Court here ordered notices to all state governments and a notice was also issued to the Law Commission requesting appropriate steps to be taken and suggestions to be given within a 2-month period. Now, in response to this notification, several states, including the state of West Bengal, submitted affidavits in their answer. Also, the court here appointed Dr. A.M. Singh as the amicus curiae. Now, the bench here comprises of the Supreme Court judges, namely Justice Kuldeep Singh and Justice A.S. Anand. Now, both these judges made conclusions about the issues in the case. The first one being that there were a tremendous growth in incidents of custodial torture and death by police. The second is the arbitrariness of policemen in arresting a person. And the third matter that needs to be looked is whether there are any needs to specify guidelines to make an arrest. Now, we must also look at the arguments that were put by both the parties. First, the contentions of the petitions were that bodily pain and mental agony suffered by the person within 4 walls of a police station or confinement should be avoided in all cases. This being a fundamental right under Article 21, the right to life, everyone should be granted equal treatment and a proper right. Now, the second contention also was that there is a need for a civilized nation and some important steps must be taken to eradicate the same in the custody of police. To this, the respondents or the state of West Bengal contended that everything was fine within their respective states and also that the problem and made sure that the suggestions for the formulation of guidelines by this court should be made. Also, in order to defend their state, they contended that there are no deaths in the confinements and even if there were any, then an investigation should be carried on whoever did it. Supreme Court bench gave their judgment and held that when the right is guaranteed by the state, it is against the state that the remedy must be sought if the constitutional obligation imposed has not been fulfilled. Here again, Article 21, which is a fundamental right, guarantees the right to life and personal liberty and has been held to include the right to live with human dignity. It is thus also a guarantee against torture and assault by state or its functionaries. Also, the Article 21 provides for that no individual arrested shall be detained in custody without being informed of the grounds of arrest and that arrested individuals shall not be denied the right to consult and defend themselves by a legal practitioner of their choice. Article 20, Clause 3 provides that a person accused of an offence shall not be compelled to be a witness against himself or herself. Also, we know Article 5 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights says that no one shall be subjected to torture or cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment. Also, we have CRPC under Chapter 5 of which and Section 176. All these provide for remedies against arrested person. Despite constitutional and statutory provision, torture and death in police custody has been increasing in India, and horizon of human rights is expanding also. The crime rate is also increasing. So how must court strike a balance between them? To all these questions, Supreme Court set down certain procedural requirements set in the cases of arrest. The first is that any form of torture of cruel, inhuman or degrading statement will fall within Article 21, whether it occurs during investigation, interrogation or any otherwise. Right of Article 21 cannot be denied to prisoners of whether under trial convicts, detainees or hardcore criminals except according to the procedure established by law. Also, the courts are to change their outlook in cases of custodial crimes and they should exhibit more sensitivity. The Law Commission presented the 113th report in which it said that in prosecution of police officer alleged to have caused bodily injury and if the evidence was proved that such injury was caused during the time when he was in police custody, the court is to presume that injury was caused by the police officer. Now, police is under a legal duty and right to arrest a criminal, but the use of third-degree torture in custody and during investigation or interrogation cannot be justified in any case. This can be done by proper training and orientation of police force with basic human values that are to be dealt and a change in the attitude of police itself. Also, we need to increase the transparency level between the working of police so that the society feels safe. Also, the concept or the maxim of salus populi est supreme lex, that means safety of people is the supreme law, was followed in this case. And also the maxim of salus republicae est suprema lex, that is the safety of the state is the supreme law. Now here both the maxims coexist and thus welfare of individual must yield the community welfare as a whole. Action of state must be just, fair and reasonable. Officer arresting a person should prepare a memo of arrest on witness who may be a member of the family of the arrestee or a respectable person of society. Also, it should include the date and time of arrest and the memo must be countersigned by the arrestee. Now, Supreme Court also laid down some specific guidelines relating to arrest procedure. The first one is that the police arresting an individual is to bear accurate, visible and clear identification and name tags with their designation on it. Particulars of police is to be recorded in the register itself. As already stated, the police officer has to prepare a memo relating to arrest. Arrested person is to be allowed to inform one friend or any other close relative about the arrest and the place where he is kept. Time, place of arrest and venue of custody should also be notified to the arrestee's next friend or relative through legal aid organization within 8 to 12 hours of arrest. This is when the accused or the arrested person stays in another district. Also, entry in diary at the place of detention regarding all the above steps should be complied. Arrestee should also be examined at the time of arrest of major and minor injuries of present be recorded by the medical officer. Now, the copies of all these documents has to be sent to the magistrate for his record, and the arrestee may be permitted to meet his lawyer during interrogation. Also, the court provides that the police control room should be provided at all district and state headquarters, where info of arrest shall be made within 12 hours of arrest, and a police control room it should be displayed at a conspicuous notice board. Failure to follow the requirements will be dealt as contempt of court. The court also made this point clear, and the court here also provided for punitive measure, that is, some remedies following the maxim of ubi jus ibi remedium. The court held that any arrested person who is subjected to violence by the police officer in custody shall be given a remedy or a compensation for this. It is provided in section 220, 330 and 331 of the Indian Penal Code. Also commenting on Article 9 Clause 5 of the International Covenant on Protection of International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, that is ICCPR, anyone who has been a victim of unlawful arrest or detention shall have enforceable right to compensation. An infringement of fundamental rights by public servants and state is to be vicariously be liable for those acts. Now, these were all the major findings that we have seen in the case of D.K. Basu versus State of West Bengal. Hope you got to understand this case more easily and more clearly. See you in the next video. Till then, subscribe to my channel, and if you like it, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you for watching.